It's the first of the month and time for the open playlist put on every month by these three lovely ladies. This month's host is Amanda from Six Kids and Glue Gun, and her co-hosts are Chantel at Crafty Hints and Brenda at Rustic and Lace DIY. More about the challenge later on in the video. Project number 1, Give Thanks Shelf Sitter. I'm going to start things off by faux staining the wood here. I'm using a combination of 2 different browns. I mix it together with a broken skewer. And I'm just going to use a wet wipe to apply it to all the nooks and crannies, front, side, and back. And I'll do the same with the cube, front, side, back, bottom, and a little bit on the inside. And that's just out of habit. You're not going to see the inside or the bottom. But that crafter in me just wants to make everything cohesive and finished. And even though it's not completely visible, you know, I know it's not finished. All right, so when I'm done faux staining here, I'm also going to use a wet wipe to put some celery colored chalk paint on the leaves. And the Canadian girl in me chose the maple leaf because I didn't have room for both. Maple leaf is, of course, my favorite leaf because I am from Canada and the maple leaf is on the Canadian flag. I just use my wet wipe to pat the paint onto the leaf, and it dries pretty fast when you do it this way. I'm going to use the same method when I put the color on the words, but I'll use the cottage white chalk paint on the words. And dabbing it on like this, I like the look, I like the finish, but it also dries a lot faster as well. And it just pops on that faux stain. It looks so good. I am so happy with how it came out. And then I like the color of the leaf. It's a natural color, the celery color, but it's not like in your face color as far as fall colors go. And there's nothing wrong with the beautiful reds and yellows, but this video is about using more muted and neutral colors. Once that paint dries, I'm going to go ahead and use wood glue and hot glue to adhere the words. And I just tapped out some wood glue onto paper towel there and used a stick to apply it to the words. And then for the leaf, I'm going to use that same Amherst wood glue. And I'm not going to bother with the hot glue on the leaf. I just used the wood glue because it's such a small amount. It'll dry nice and fast. And then here again, using the wood glue, hot glue combination on the cube. You'll also notice I put some floral foam in there. I filled it about half full. I don't usually fill my containers all the way with the foam, usually about halfway, 3/4. These are some florals that I chose that were a little muted, a little neutral. And I will use the greens first, but I slowed down the camera here so I could show you the packaging that those little pumpkins came in. And I have the orange pumpkins in my hand there. I'm not sure if you can see it, it's almost out of frame. And then some green and brown pumpkins on the in the left-hand corner there. And I'm going to make little floral picks out of those and add them to the arrangement in the cube. So the best way to do this is to squeeze the pumpkin, make the fabric taut, and then give the pointy end of the skewer a big push, and I kind of like wiggled it in there. If you wanted to pierce the bottom of the pumpkin with something before the skewer, that would probably make it a little bit easier, but I just used the sharp end of the skewer and pulled the fabric tight, and that worked for me. Don't use hay like I'm using here. You don't need to, and it just disintegrates. Like it just falls apart, and I wanted to try it, and I tried it, and it's just a big old mess, and it's not necessary. So go ahead and leave that part out if you decide to do this. So I like putting the greens down first. These were eucalyptus buds and leaves that I got from Amazon, and it came together. And then once I had the base down, I got my florals in there, and you'll notice I have the little pumpkins in there as well. And this came out so cute. I'm going to give you a better look of it at the final reveal. Shout out to our host Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, and her co-hosts Chantel from Crafty Hints and Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY. This challenge happens every month on the 1st at 5, and I'll have our hosts' channel links as well as a link to the playlist in my description box below. Keep watching. Project number 2 is a fall words pumpkin inspired by this Valentine words heart that I did earlier this year at Valentine's Day. So like the words are on the heart, I'm going to put words on the pumpkin, and I'm going to make my own words on Cricut. For the heart, I used the Dollar Tree rub-on transfers. So these are the supplies I'm using, and they're pretty much all Dollar Tree. I have lots of these little houses. This house is going to act as a stand on the back of the pumpkin. So I released the back from the frame of the house with a utility knife, and then I took this Buffalo Check Dollar Tree vinyl, and I'm covering the backing, and then I'm going to reattach it with the wood glue and the hot glue. And then eventually I will attach that back to the back of the pumpkin, but not just yet. Right, I set that off to the side, let the glue, dry completely, because it does take a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and paint this pumpkin, and you'll notice the mark. I did have to put some water on the tag, on the sticky tag on the back, and let it dry, and then I painted over it. I actually did a couple coats of the white, and then I added some celery for definition, and then I used the Aleene's gloss finish spray to prepare the pumpkin for the Cricut words. So I just randomly did fall words on my Cricut. I chose a font, like one will be a poster font, one might be a typewriter font, another might be cursive font. And after I found a font that I liked, I did 3 words, at least 3 words in that font. And then I would go on to the next font, etc., etc. And I did this like 2 or 3 times before the whole pumpkin was filled. And I did it on my Cricut Joy, and I noticed the best way to do it is just do all the words and get to the part where you're getting ready to print, and Cricut will arrange the letters or arrange the words on how they're going to be printed out, and you can actually turn them around side to side, rotate them before you actually cut them. And I find if you just focus on doing your words during the editing process and worry about the placement just before you cut. And the reason I do that is I just try and save the vinyl. So, if one word is taking up 5 inches, maybe I can rotate it so it only takes up 1 inch. And you'll see here I'm just fussing around. I was actually running out of ideas for words. I actually went to Google and looked up fall words. I got all the warm drinks in there. And this, my thankful, grateful. I don't know if I put blessed in there, but you know, some of the traditional ones, and then some maybe not so traditional. I got Scarecrow in there. I love how this brisk walk turned out. It fit in this spot so nicely. And this is all organic. Like, I'm just printing these words about 1 inch for the height. Oh, look at that. I lost the W, and I don't notice right away. But I work with a 1 inch height in mind, and then just kind of go from there. I get the W back and fix my walk word. So when I'm putting the words down, this is all just happening organically. Like, I have no idea when I started what word was going to go where. Finally got to the point where I didn't want to do any more words in the spots that were left over because it was just too small. And I took one of these die cut flowers, used my utility knife to cut it, and I put half on either side there where you see that just a little bit of negative space. And I didn't know what I was going to do. Like, I was going to print something up on Cricut, and then I saw the flower in my drawer, and I thought, oh, I'll just do that. So we're getting closer to the end. I'm going to fix the backing because I tried painting it, and it got messed up because there was Mod Podge and everything on there. It was just a big old mess. So I put that Dollar Tree vinyl that I like so much. It didn't stick as well. I had to go back and put some more glue on it because it's just been out of the package for a while, and it just wasn't adhering. Like, it was actually just coming up on the sides and stuff. So I went ahead and put down some hot glue. And then I'm just fussing around with the finishings and the embellishments. I have these, I think they're pitberry garlands. And I chose the white and green because that was the more traditional, the more neutral color, which is what this video is all about. And now's the time to put the house on the back and attach to the stand. And please, please, please get the stand on there like that, and then don't move for a while, because I actually had to go in and glue it a second time because I moved it, and then when I set it back down again, it was completely off to one side. So I have these cool little pumpkins that I got at Dollar Tree. One was actually matches with the buffalo check, and I think that one, the brown one, is burlap. And it's just like, I always like hoard my embellishments, and I don't know why, and I'm like, I am just going to make this a double-sided sign and have all these cute little traditional colored and shaped embellishments. And I know the orange is a little bit more colorful than what I was doing in this project, but I just like the look against the buffalo check. So I went ahead and put a little finger bow and kind of teased it so it looked a little bit like a flower. And I did that because there's no stick on this leaf. That's kind of weird, but there we go. So pretty. Didn't even know I was making a double-sided pumpkin, but here you have it. And I'll give you a better look of it at the final reveal. Okay, project number 3, stick pumpkins. So I'm going to make about 4 of these, and they're almost all exactly the same. So I'm going to go through the first one for you and then show the embellishments. So I took a Dollar Tree plunger and I cut sections that were 2 inches and 3 inches. And I did 3 of each. And then I bundled them together. I also selected from this little bag of sticks that I got at Dollar Tree. So I wanted something a little bit different, but I wanted more than 2 pumpkins. So I took some nice thick ones that sat upright, okay. And I'll bundle those as well. I also, if you see on the right hand side, I took some thicker sticks from a separate bag, and I piled those on top of each other instead of next to each other. And then it's really quite simple. I'm taking the tops of the sticks and just sanding them down just to make them look nice and to alleviate any slivers. There's no painting or anything. We're keeping it natural, like the theme of this video. And once I'm happy with how they look, I'm going to pull out a length of twine. This is one of my favorite twines that Dollar Tree has ever had, that I have ever purchased at Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some glue before I bundle them. My favorite wood glue, Aylmer's wood glue, and then a little bit of hot glue for a more immediate hold while the wood glue dries. Once I get the hot glue out there, I'm going to stand them up, and then I'm going to turn them in towards each other so all the glue is on the inside. And I do go back and wipe some of the excess glue off just to make it look more clean. I wrap the twine around about the middle. I tie just a regular shoestring bow, and then I put some tape on the length of string that's still left over, and put some small natural wooden beads on there. I'm not sure if I did it for all of them, but I thought it looked good having the beads hang down like that. Just a little something, because the embellishments are what's going to make these little pumpkins into something more than just a bundle of sticks. So I did pretty much the same for all 4 of them. I used the wired jute to do the little twisty things coming off of the peduncles, I think you call them, but sticks. So the sticks in the middle, and then I took wired jute and wrapped it around a paint stick, and then just kind of wrapped it around the stick on top. Then I decided it still needed a little bit more, and I have these really nice neutral color mini sunflowers, and I'm going to show you what they look like at the final reveal. And here's the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.